ከእናንተ ጋር እኔ ጋር ሁሉ ቅምጥል ሁሉ ሸጋ ብሎ ጥሩ ነው። እኔ ጋር ያው እንግዲህ የበልግ ዝናብ እየዘነበ በመሆኑ ትንሽ ቀዝቀዝ ብሏል ብሏል። እንግዲህ የጃኬቶችም የጥላዎችም መፈላለጊያ ሰዓት እየደረሰ ይመስላል። ከዛ ውጭ ሁሉ መልካም ነው ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ዛሬ ከኔ ጋር አብራችሁኝ የምትቆዩ ከሆነ በጋራ የእንግሊዝኛ ልቦለድ እያነበብን በጋራ እንለማመዳለን ማለት ነው። እንኳን ደህና መጣችሁ ብያለሁ። ሁለት ኮመንት እያየሁ ነው ከውጭ ሁለት ተመልካች። ስለዚህ ግቡ ወደ ውስጥ። ጌቲን ፕሊዝ ጌቲን ሄሎ ሄሎ ኤቭሪዋን ሄሎ ዌልካም ብለናል። እንግዲህ የሚበላም አለን የሚጠጣም አለና ይሄን ዱላ የመሰለ አጥንት እንዳይመስላችሁ ያው የሚበላ ይመስላል። is that it seems an edible food but it is an edible type of bread which is cooked well and fried. It is delicious, by the way. It's interesting. It will be act as a stick if necessary. It will crack my head bone even. It's very hard. So that's it. እንዴት የትዊን ዝጋብኝ ሊደር መስሎት ነው እንዴ? ምን አስቦ ነው? It's a bread. Is it dried? Fried? Bread well cooked. But it needs a hard tooth to make a fracture on it. Okay. Okay. Different zones. Written by Bobby Jimenez. Different zones. Bobby Jimenez. Lesson 1. Josh. I glanced down at the text while the light was red. Celeste, I am not giving you a dime. Josh, go scream yourself. Goodman, I'm uttered tossing the phone on passenger seat. I knew she was gonna do this. Leave me with my finger in the shit. I would left her the content of the whole house, and all I asked was for her to pay half of the lost bill. Half of $3,000 worth of appliances I had generously given her instead of selling them. Despite the card and payment being in my name, and of course I was somehow the asshole in all this for leaving the state for a new job 3 months after we had broken up. I had it on the highest authority. She was now hooking up with some guy named Brand. I hoped Brand enjoyed my Samsung stainless gas range with the double even. Asphalt scented heat drifted in through my open windows. I sat in Burbank's. The slow-moving morning gridless look. Even on Sunday, there was traffic. I needed to get my AC fixed it. If I was going to survive in California, another expense I couldn't afford. I should have walked to grocery store. Probably would have gotten there faster at this rate, and I wouldn't have wasted gas and other things that cost twice as much as it did in South Dakota. Maybe this move was a bad idea. This place would bankrupt me. I had to host my best friend's bachelor party. There were moving expense, the higher cost of living, and now this is bullshit. The lights turned green and I pulled forward. Then the truck in front of me slammed on the brakes and I hit its bumper with a lurch. You have gotta be kidding me? My day had been officially ruined twice in less than 30 seconds. I was not even 8 a.m. yet. My day had been officially ruined twice. The other driver turned into one's parking a lot, waving out the window for me to follow. A woman bracelet on her wrist. The wave somehow managed to be sarcastic. Nice truck, Zoo. A Ford F-150. It still had dealer plates. Kind of shame. I had hit it. She parked and I pulled up behind her, turned off the engine, and rummaged in my glove box for my insurance information as the woman jumped from her vehicle and ran to look at her bumper. Hey, I said, getting out. Sorry about that. She turned from her inspection and glared up at me. Yeah, you know you have one job, right? Not to hit the car in front of you. She cocked her head. She was small and maybe 5 feet. Petite, a dark white spot cascade down the front of her shirt. Shoulder length brown hair and brown eyes. Cute, impressive. Scowl. I scratched my cheek. Irritated women were a particular specialty of mine. 6 sisters, I was well trained. Let's just have a look. I said passively, putting on my calm in a precise voice. See what we are dealing with. I crunched between the back of her truck and front of mine and survived the damage as she stood over me. Her arms crossed and I looked up at her. I tapped, "Your tailor. Hitch. Your truck is fine." Mine had a small dent, but it was not anything major. I don't think we need to get our insurance companies involved. I couldn't afford to have an accident on my driving record. It was not good for my job. I pushed up on my knee and turned to her. She leaned over and tugged on the hitch. It didn't wiggle. "Fine," she said, obviously satisfied with my assessment. "So, are we done here?" "I think we can be done." She whirled, darting around to the passenger side of her truck as I started for the grocery store. She dove into the cab, her legs dangling from her seat as she leaned in on her stomach. Her flip-flop fell off into the parking lot with love. She had a nice asset. "Hey," she said, twisting to look at me as I walked past. "How about instead of starting at my ass, you make yourself useful and get me some napkin?" Boosted. I put them over my shoulder. "Oh, I don't have any napkin in my truck. Think outside of the box," she said impatiently. Feeling a little guilty for openly admiring her assets, or rather forgetting catch during it, I decided to be helpful. I went back to my truck, opened my gym bag and grabbed a tea. When I handed her the shirt, she snatched it and dove back into the cab. I stood there, mostly because she had my favorite shirt, but also because the view was not anything to complain about. "Everything okay?" I tried to peer past her into the front seat, but she blocked my line of sight. A small, light brown dog with a white chin growled at me from window of a back seat. One of those little purse dogs. I scoffed. It were actually closing. "I spilled coffee in my friend's new truck," she said from inside. She lost her other flip-flop to the sweltering parking lot and was now barefoot. Her red painted toe on running board. "It is everywhere, so no, it's not okay." "Is your friend dying or something?" "It was an accident." She pivoted to glare at me like I kicked her dog. "No, he is not a dick. You are a dick. You were probably texting." She was feisty. A little too cute to scare me, though. I had to work hard to keep my lips from turning up at the corner. I cleared my throat. I was not texting, and in all fairness, you did slam on brakes for no reason. The reason was I needed to stop. She turned back to mess. I suspected the reason was spilled of coffee on her herself and hit the brakes reflexively. But I was not going to poke the bear. The bear, well trained. I slipped my hands into my pocket and rocked back on my heels, squinting up at the warm sign in parking lot to my left. Okay, well, good chatting with you. Leave my shirt on windshield when you are done. She climbed into the passenger side of the truck and slammed the door shut. I shook my head and chuckled all the way into the store. When I came back out, she was gone and my shirt was nowhere to be seen. Listen to Christine. 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 Listen to Christine. She planted a chair smack in middle of fire station. Living room and straddled it backward, facing me. He did this so he could harass me as close as humanly possible. I sat in one of the 6 brown leather recliner parked in front of the TV. My Yorkie stuntman Mike stood in my lap, growling. Xuan bounced his eyebrows at me under his stupid pompadour hair. So, girl, you think about what I said? He cried. No, Xuan, I don't have any Mexican in me. And no, I don't want any. The fire station captain Javier came down the hallway into kitchen. As I leaned forward with hand on my dog's head. Sean, I want you to know that if I needed mouth to mouth, and you were the last pandemic on earth, I prefer donation made to the Aspica in lieu of flowers at my funeral. Javier laughed as he poured himself a coffee. And Brandon chuckled over his book from the recliner next to me. Sean, get lost. Sean got up and grabbed his chair and, marveling at her, dragged it back to the table. Sean got up and Sloan breezed back in from the bathroom. She had on that white linen skirt she got when we were in Mexico last summer and sandals that laced up her calf. She looked like Helen Troy. My best friend was gorgeous. Blonde whistling hair, colorful tattoos down her left arm, and glistening rock on her ring finger. Brandon was her firefighter and equally hot fiance. It was Sunday, family day at the station, when the 4 guys on shift got bring their friends and family to have breakfast with them if they wanted so. Sloan and I were the only taker this morning. Javier's wife was at church with his daughter, and Sean didn't have girlfriend. Imagine that. Technically, I was here for Josh, the 4th member of crew, though I had never met him before. Brandon's best friend Josh just transferred from South Dakota to be station's new engineer. He was Brandon's best man, and I was Sloan's maid of honor for their April 16th wedding into the month. Josh had missed the engagement party, so it was some all-important things that we meet each other immediately. I checked my phone for the time. I was starving and getting irritable. Breakfast was on Josh today. He hadn't shown up yet, so nobody was actually making anything, and all I had was coffee. I would have coffee. He was already pissing me off. I hadn't even met him yet. So Sloan said, sitting in recliner next to the Brandon, "Are you going to tell me where you got the shirt?" I looked down at the black men's wooden leg brewing company t-shirts. I would noted at the waist. Nope. She eyed me. You left for tampons, and you came back wearing some random shirt. Is there some particular reason you hiding this from me? Brandon glanced up from his page. He was pretty level-headed guy. He didn't usually let things work him up, but explaining that I had christened his new truck with my black Sumatra drip would probably earn me a star. Disapproving that would somehow be worse than if he accused me out. I opted against it. I had cleaned it up. I had managed not to damage the bumper. In fender bender, I would caused slamming on brake when I spilled it everywhere. What he didn't know wouldn't hurt him. Since my top was already ruined, I would use it to clean up the mess and change it into the parking lot guy's shirt instead. It is Tyler's. I lied. It smells like him. I just missed him. I put my nose to the top of the collar and made show of breathing in. Damn, it smelled good. That guy had been kind of sexy. A nice body under those clothes. I could tell. Good looking too. That clean shaven, boyish face I always gravitate to. I needed to get laid. I was starting for fantasies over strangers. It had been too long. Taylor hadn't been home in 7 months. Sloane's face went soft. Oh, that is so sweet. It's sad you can't be with him on Valentine's Day tomorrow, but just 3 more weeks and you'll have him for good. Yep, his development will be done and we will officially be living together. I twinge, nervous, twisted in my gut, but I kept my face neutral. Sloane smiled and put hand to her heart. She didn't much like Tyler, but she was still a romantic. My cramps surged and clutched my stomach with grimace. I was in the throes of another epic period. This coupled with hunger, the event from earlier, and this 3 a.m. police drama at my house that I was not telling Sloane about had me in fire mood. I was so tired. I had just tried to plug my charger into my coffee cup instead of my phone. Sloane checked her watch and then wordlessly rummaged in her purse. And shocked to a level into her hand. She handed me her glass of water and gave me the pills in well-rehearsed routine we had perfected during our 5 years romance. It swallowed the pills, and turned to Brandon. That book any good? It is not bad, he said, looking at the cover. Want to borrow it when I'm done? Then I peered past me and his eyes lit up. Oh, hi, Eddie. I followed his look to the door and my jaw dropped. The handsome jerk from Von stood there with bag of groceries. Our gaze met from across the room and we stared at each other in surprise. Then his eye dropped down to his shirt, and the corner of his mouth turned up into the smirk. I stood putting the Steinman on chair as the guy set down his groceries and walked toward me. I held my breath, waiting to see how he was going to play this. Brandon laid his book over the arm of the recliner and got up. Josh, this is Christine Peterson, Sloan's best friend, Christian Josh compared. Well, hello. It is so nice to meet you, he said, gripping my hand just a little too tightly. I narrowed my eyes. Nice to meet you, too. Josh didn't let go of my hand. Hey, Brandon, didn't you get a new truck this weekend? He asked, talking to his friend, but staring at me. I glared at him and his brown eye winkled. Yeah, want to see it? Brandon asked. After breakfast, I love that new car smell. Mine just smells like coffee. I gave him crazy eyes and his smirk. Go bigger. Brandon didn't seem to notice. Got any more bags? Winter? Brandon asked. Sloan had already dived in and was in the kitchen unpacking produce. Just one more trip. I got it, George said, his eye giving me wordless invitation to come outside. I will walk out with you, I announced. Forgot something in the truck. He held the door for me, and as soon as it was closed, I whirled on him. You had better not say shit. I poked a finger at his chest. At this point, it was less about the coffee speed and more about pots. At this point, it was less about the coffee spill and more about not wanting to reveal my brazen attempt at covering up my crime. I didn't lie as a rule, and of course, the one time I had made an exception. I was immediately in position to be blackmailed. Demand. Josh arched an eyebrow and leaned in. You stole my shirt thief? I crossed my arm. If you ever want to see it again, you will keep your mouth shut. Remember, you ended me. this will not go over well for you. Either his lips, he had dimples, mother of dimples. Did I read in? Are you sure? Because there is no evidence of that ever happening, no damage to his truck, no police report. In fact, my version of event is I saw a hysteric woman in distress in the Bones parking lot and I gave her my shirt to help her out. Then she took off with it. Well, there is your first mistake. I said nobody would ever believe I was hysterical. I don't do hysterics. Good info. He leaned forward. I will just my story accordingly. I calm but rude woman asked for my help and then stole my favorite shirt. Better. He was smiling so big. He was almost laughing. Jerk. I pursed my lip and took another step closer to him. He looked amused as I encroached on his personal space. He didn't back up and glowered up at him. You want the shirt? I want your silence. This is not a hard situation to work out. He grinned at me. Maybe I will let you keep the shirt. I doesn't look half bad on you. Then he turned for his truck, laughing. Pursuit. Maybe pursuit. Lesson 3. The Josh